What's up, Fresh Bros? Welcome back to How to Elder Scrolls. More specifically, my little mini-series where I am going through and reviewing every class in the Elder Scrolls 1 arena in alphabetical order. And we are currently on to the burglar, the sneak thief, the oh so infamous class of arena. One the very first of the three trap classes we'll be reviewing. This is going to be a doozy. Let's get through it. So the burglar is the seventh class in the list of classes in the Elder Scrolls 1 arena. They have a C scaling C scaling experience, which means they get middle of the road experience gain, which is one of the few upsides of this class. And I mean, it's not bad. At first, you may look at it and it doesn't seem that bad, but yeah, it's going to be bad once we get into the nitty-gritty of this. So, middle of the road experience gain, D10 hit die, which is pretty average. In fact, it's just below the acrobat. I just noticed. So, interesting that the burglar would have below acrobat health. You know, but anyways, burglars can use daggers, tonos, short swords, and short bows. Just one less weapon than what the acrobat can use, you may notice. But maybe they get some sort of greater advantage. Well, let's see here. They get leather armor. Nothing better than that, but like, thief classes, they usually get leather, so not bad. No shield, but honestly, not too bad. I mean, you can get plenty of good shield, like plenty of good armor items anyways without needing a shield slot. And 100% thieving efficiency, which is absolutely ridiculous, but you may notice that this is basically the strength of the burglar, the one and only strength of the burglar, is you get 100% thieving efficiency. No spell points, 1% critical strike chance per level, which is pretty much the average for most thief archetypes, and you start with a short sword, which is honestly not bad considering that dagger is one of the weaker weapons you could utilize, so you do get a decent starting weapon at the very least, though it does match with the acrobat in that degree. Burglars are under the thief archetype, and, well, burglars are adept at picking locks and infiltrating different areas. They do this better than any other class, honing their skills to be able to find ways into areas thought inaccessible. They are very useful at exploring new dungeons, palaces, and other areas where others may be stopped by locked doors and or chests. Because of the delicate nature of their work, they are restricted in armor and they may wear and the weapons they may carry. They may not use shields. Burglars also receive a chance per level to score a critical strike, which is 3 times damage, pretty nice, when attacking an opponent, though they are not as adept as this adept at this as thieves. Yeah, their critical strike is a little lower than thieves and assassins and archers. Anyways, advantages. Highest chance for pickpocket and lockpicking success. 100% efficiency, which is pretty good. And of course, they also possess a 1% critical strike chance per level. You may notice that we just read off both advantages, and the disadvantages list is a little heavier. Well, let's see here. Disadvantages. Relatively low potential health point gain per level, being a D10. It's literally just under the Acrobat, which is one of the classes I said was pretty mediocre anyways. And let's see here. Limited weapon selection, the most restrictive of any thief class. Yeah, so thief classes are already pretty restrictive as is. Burglars say, yeah, you're not even using any weapons whatsoever. Lower critical strike chance than compared to other thief classes. Yeah, their DPS is pretty mediocre as well. They can only use leather armor, so their defense is pretty bad, and cannot use shields, so their defense is pretty bad, on top of their defense being pretty bad with their health. Notes. Burglars are essentially thieves ramped up to the extreme. They possess the highest thievery efficiency out of any class in the game, but also possess arguably the worst combat potential out of any class. They are somewhat helped by their plus D10 health points hit dice, on par with bards and better than assassins and rogues, but less than thieves and acrobats. And even acrobats are pretty mediocre. More than other thief classes, burglars are dependent on utilizing their thievery skills in order to find the golden items necessary to outfit themselves adequately. The manual incorrectly states that burglars possess a D8 health point dice. So, yeah, burglars are supposed to be even weaker in that regard. And I mean, you may notice I'm seeming to give this class in particular a lot of gripe. I do have some personal experience with this class. This was the first class I tried playing. I have a personal vendetta against this class. I am not going to rate it well whatsoever, but I am going to review it fairly nonetheless. Let's get into the game. Alright, and here we are, ready to select our class. And, well, this is the first class we have to actually scroll down to get to. Burglar. Now, of course, I am going to make this character, I guess, someone who would be a little more important in the grand scheme of one of my more main series, though I guess more will be revealed in a later challenge run when I decide to actually torture myself by actually playing through Arena as a burglar and do a full burglar run. So, you know, I'll give more background on who exactly I'm playing as when that time comes, and what all would be important of this character. Though, of course, you can probably already place a guess now if you are a fan of my channel. Alright, well, anyways, we're probably going to want some decent endurance. Definitely going to need good agility. I'm definitely going to want to re-roll because this is a pretty mediocre stat run here. That's pretty bad too. I mean, the agility is nice, but like nothing else is good. Here, I'm going to re-roll once again. Oh god, even worse. Oh god. Alright. You know what? We're gonna have to roll with it. We're gonna have to roll with it. I can't sit here all day. Alright, we got some good stats here, at least decent stats. Our strength is good, our intelligence is good, so that means we should be able to steal pretty efficiently. Willpower is decent, agility is pretty good, speed is whatever, endurance, personality, luck, it's all whatever. But you know, it is what it is. And let's see here. Yeah, it was actually this face that I used. Alright.
Do not fear.
Now time to load on in. Here we are. A burglar. Time to burgle. Alright. I just realized we have 26 health. That's pretty good for a burglar. Well, let's grab this key. We're going to do our usual dance with the save scum routine outside the loot pile to see what we get. So catch y'all in a sec. Alright, and we got ourselves an ebony belt here. That is actually a really good find. We also got a dwarven helm. We could actually sell that. Minus 11 armor rating. Good lord, I can't wait until we get to... I guess Knight is going to be the first class we're going to run across that will have plate armor. Well, anyways, we're pretty much set up armor rating wise now. Now we got plus 3s across the board instead of plus 8s, so we shouldn't die to 2 rats in like 2 seconds. Alright. Oh, good. Alright, so should be able to just run and jump across here. I just know for a fact that playing a burglar in this dungeon is quite rough, and one thing I know for a fact about this class, and one thing I find kind of dumb, is you get 100% lockpicking success chance. However, I personally have found locks that you cannot even pick, like, just normally doing it. Like you can straight up fail lockpicking check even on normal non-magical locks, even as a burglar, with 100% lockpicking efficiency. So, like, it's not true 100%. You can also fail to pickpockets against merchants. So, like, thievery efficiency is a half lie. Like, it definitely helps, but it's not like, oh my god, you can actually do all this stuff, isn't it great? Like, no, like, it's mediocre, is what I'm saying. Like, it's good, but it's not the best. So I guess what we can do here is drop a save. Now that we're level 2, let's go ahead and rest. Uh-oh. Got a human that... We're dead. We're dead. Yeah, death. Um, yeah, so the humans, the bandits that you face as a burglar are extra deadly because you don't really have anything you could really do to defend yourself against them unless you get some good magic items. In that case, you could literally play as any other class. And another. Dead again, trying to rest scum. Yep, there we go. Yeah, so this is basically early game for you. What I'm looking for is either full rest or some non-bandits. You know, like, oh, we got a critical strike and dead. Ugh. Yeah, because if we can kill like some goblins or rats or something, or crash my game, you know, that's good too. I love crashing my game. Don't you love crashing your game? I love crashing my game. Alright, let's try this again. See, goblins. These guys I can handle. You know, because goblins are just goblins. Low health. Plenty of XP, though. You see, now the game is actually treating me nicely, for some reason. This is really just good luck, because, I mean, y'all just saw that burglar dies to bandits pretty quickly. Though, to be fair, the bandits in this game are pretty nasty, so... Not like it's really saying all too much. But this should give us all the levels we need before leaving this place.
I see. It is said that Fang Lair was
And now we have the first quest activated, and a couple more goblins to fight. It's currently 8 in the morning, and we just leveled up. Nice. Oh, and that's a 6-pointer. definitely maxing out agility, because if you're stealing and stuff, you want to have maxed out agility as soon as possible. It's basically the only way you can truly survive in this game if you're playing as any thief class that doesn't necessarily have a lot of health. Um, because agility means getting hit less and hitting more often, which is, in general, pretty frickin' good and pretty much what you want to frickin' do. Now, there is a bit of a strength to playing burglar. It's a very nasty strength, but it's kind of the one thing that burglar has going for it. And basically, burglar is half decent in the early game because you can just straight up steal stuff with save scumming, and it doesn't feel extremely excruciating to try and do. Like, you'll still need to make multiple attempts to actually steal something, mind you. However, you can at least more feasibly pull it off. Alright, so this here is going to be a weapons shop, so weapon shops can provide some pretty good loot, and usually in most of our little reviews, I would go into this place and, like, buy and sell stuff. We're unsuccessful. You may notice that we're unsuccessful even now. However, I can sell this dwarven helm for 1,500 gold. Jesus Christ. We're going to sell this for something a little higher. Maybe 1,800? Oh, can I sell it for 190? 1,900? What about 1,850? Okay, I'll just sell it for 1,800. Alright, there we go. That's a decent amount. Now we have 2,000 gold. Let's see what kind of weapons this guy has. So he has a dwarven short bow, a short sword of luck, a short bow of lightning. Like, you see, the weapon selection here isn't exactly the best. It is not even close to the best. Like, the dwarven short bow is basically the only thing worth getting weapon-wise, because, you know, it'd be a half-decent item. Let's see here, but we're going to buy ourselves a full suit of leather. I don't really care about the cost, because of course leather is just leather, you know, it barely sells for much anyways, and we have more than enough gold because we really got lucky on that dwarven helm find. And I guess we'll try to steal from this guy a little more. Doesn't look like he'll have too much, because you can only steal what's actually in the guy's inventory. I mean, there is stuff that's in his inventory that you can't quite see because of, like, the fact that you can't use the stuff. However, if I just look through here, okay, I see that I still need to get the right pauldron. Alright, there we go. So that should be all of the armor pieces we need. So now we have an armor rating that's going to be a -2 across the board, which is not bad. I mean, that's not bad at all. Yeah, that was a really lucky find with that ebony belt. Alright. But here, if I leave this area, I can go and probably locate... We'll try this weapon shop. You know what? We'll try this weapon shop. We might actually get some decent enchanted items just by stealing from them. You know, like, your chances of thievery is, if I remember correctly, it's kind of based off of your luck and your intelligence, as well as your thieving efficiency and your level. So it's just kind of random. Unsuccessful. Unsuccessful. Like, you see, I'm getting half caught here. Oh, that is full unsuccessful. And you may notice I have 100% thieving efficiency, And yet, I didn't steal Jack. I couldn't steal Jack. I couldn't steal Daniels. I couldn't steal anything. I couldn't even steal dirt off the ground there, despite the fact that I have 100% thieving efficiency. And that's kind of the downside of Burglar, is the one thing Burglar is good at is completely redundant in this game. But hey, at least we can use weapons. I guess that's an advantage. At least we can use armor. That's an advantage. Well, anyways, I guess what we can do is run around. Maybe we can find a mage's guild, and maybe we can rob that place. Hey, would you happen to know where the nearest bank is? Yes, just east of here. Alright, have a nice day, ma'am. Hang on, wait, thief, wait. Oh, there it is. Alright, Mage's Guild. We're going to go steal from the mages because they do offer some magic items which do sell for more, and more often than not, magic items can actually be of use. So, that's exactly what we're going to do here. So we're going to steal magic item. We successfully stole a mithril bracelet. And you see, funnily enough, I remember doing this, and for whatever reason, you can actually get magic items more efficiently. Like, look at that. -5s across the board. Let's get ourselves a full ebony set. Can I actually save in a mage's guild? Oh dear God, I can. Let's see how far we can press our luck. Unsuccessful. You successfully stole a crystal of Wizard's Lock. Okay, let's not press my luck any further. I'm going to drop a save. We're going to basically start gambling here. Unsuccessful. Oh, we got caught. Can we escape? Oh God, we're almost dying. We're almost dead. Hang on. Hold that thought, officer. Here, what we'll do is real quick, we can sell this crystal at a fighter's guild, or not a fighter's guild, a weapon shop. In fact, there might be a weapon shop nearby the mage's guild that we can just mark down, and so we can just run back and forth. Because if you can get a a weapon shop next to a mage's guild as a burglar, you could actually get some good money just by stealing magic items and just running back and forth. However, you may notice I barely took much damage anyways. I can't really find a weapon shop. We're going to head back into the Mage's Guild, and you notice I was able to drop saves in here, and the Magister, he's back. He's back to get robbed again. I got a ring of opening. Like, this guy's a mad lad. Like, he's actually willing to get robbed again. It's almost like he wants me to steal from him. Yeah, but taking magic items from mages, oh, is kind of like the strength of the burglar. And magic items do in fact sell for quite a lot. In fact, magic items are in fact one of the most valuable items in the entire game. So being able to just steal an indefinite supply of them, even though you can see, you saw multiple times that I got caught, despite the fact that we have supposedly 100% pickpocketing chance. It's not true 100% pickpocket chance. But you do notice that it's still high enough that we can just keep doing this and keep getting away with it. I mean, we keep getting caught, but we can keep getting away with it. Because we can just leave, re-enter, And the magic user, the mage, is still here to get robbed again. Though it does seem like he's getting smarter. So, we're going to sell what we got, because we might be able to find a weapon shop somewhere around here. And then maybe we'll head out to Rahad and see what kind of weapons we can find in any shops around there, if any are decent at all whatsoever. And then maybe steal from the Mages Guild there, because I do know where it's at. And then we can go do the first quest with a little bit of stolen loot. Which, this is kind of the one strength of the burglar, and the reason why the burglar is so weak is because you can just get all of your starting loot without actually having to do much of anything. Like, look at this. So we got our mithril bracelets, our belts, we got a ring of opening. Like, we got a ring of opening. We don't need the ability to pick locks, we just need the ability to pick pockets from wizards. And, like, look at that! Like, that's a pretty nifty selling amount. Let's see here. We can probably sell it for a little more, so maybe we can get it up to 4,000. Yeah, we could sell it for 4,000, not bad. Hang on. Let's see here. We'll at least get it close to 4,000. Yeah, that'll work. So we're already pretty wealthy. Let's sell this Wizard's Lock, Crystal of Wizard Lock. That's only 768 gold. I'm not going to barter with that because that's not really much. I can swim in that. Like, it's barely anything. However, it's still a lot of money. A decent amount. It's still more than how much a dagger sells for. In fact, here, let me head back in real quick. We're going to see if this guy has any actually good magic weapons for sale, because if we can get like an ebony short sword, then we're set. No dice. Steel totem of frost resistance, though. Does look like there is another weapon shop here. And yeah, the burglar, the downside definitely is that the burglar doesn't really get weapons too often. Now, we have plenty of gold, we just can't really get weapons. That's basically, okay, well, that's basically our main downside, is weapons are a problem. At least acquiring decent weapons. Because the bard could just use a saber. Sabers did pretty good damage as is. Like, look at this. This is basically nothing. I bet you this guy has a full inventory, though. Various different, like, great axes, great swords, broadswords, and katanas and stuff. But, none of that the burglar can use. It's too heavy. Way too heavy for a burglar's hand, apparently. A burglar's hand is only designed for stealing. Little else. They would make a great... Wow! This is a selection. Okay, so let's see here. Short Sword of Agility is good for early game, I guess. Steel Short Sword is meh. Let's see here. Dagger of Fire Resistance, Lightning. Let's see here. Short Bow of Firestorm, Short Bow of Lightning. Not really too many good items. I would look for a ebony dagger, maybe an ebony tono or ebony short sword, maybe an ebony short bow, but anything below that, like anything that's still in base weapon quality, I don't think it's really worth it. But hey, now that we have all the gold we need, we can head all the way to Rahad and I guess get an inn, see about getting some better gear. Maybe we could steal some more magic items from the Mages Guild here in the morning. In fact, we got an inn somewhere. Should have an inn somewhere. Over here. There's an inn. Alright. Let's just grab an inn for the night. Before you reach the bar, a very influential fellow. What the? Sorry to disturb you, but I was hoping you might be on your way to the Mages Guild. Nah. I'm a burglar, not a simpleton like that. Now, of course, you could sneak into a room, but honestly, we got all the gold we need from our recent heist to get a regular room for a day. Like, there's no reason we would even want to haggle or anything. Like, 10 gold is a drop in the ocean. Like, and it's 2 at night. So let's see here. What would fully healed get us? 16 hours pass. 6 in the evening. Alright, we still got some time to kill. Crazy that it takes that long just to heal up, though. You see, that's another issue with being a burglar, is healing rate is pretty low due to low endurance and stuff, low health, or I mean, you still have a decent amount of health, it's just low health in comparison to other classes that actually have health. Let's see here. Oh yeah, it's still way too... Okay. Yeah, I guess 6 is a little too late, isn't it? 7 in the evening. Here, we'll camp for 12 hours. We only have 8 remaining hours, but... oh no. Here, we're just going to... I can't even... Okay. Fine, we'll just go in for 8 hours. And then I guess we'll have to... It's early in the morning. Yeah, I didn't realize that 7 in the evening would be that late. Thought there would at least be a little bit of daylight left. Let's get another room, you haggling sleazebag. Ugh, okay. We're just going to rest up for another, what, like 5 hours? Alright, that should be in the daylight now, and now we should be able to actually run about without getting absolutely erased by everything that walks and talks and struts. Alright, let's see here. Time to search for, I guess, the Mages Guild first. So that way we can look at stealing from the Mages Guild a little more. Maybe get some more magic items in us. I already know that the belt I have is a ebony belt. I'll need a mage to identify it just to tell me, hey, the belt you have that reduces your armor rating by 5 points is actually an ebony belt. You know, that doesn't really help with much. And we got ourselves a little shop here that we can maybe get some good weapons at. Maybe, just maybe. Of course, you could do trial and error like I'm doing, or you could just look up where all the weapons actually are to see what kind of weapon you would want, and what kind of weapon would be available for you, of course. But of course, ebony short swords are kind of rare because classes that have ebony short sword as their strongest blade is kind of a rare selection. I guess Bethesda doesn't really like you doing that too much. And I mean, funnily enough, I think Burglar would be great as a class in like a true old school party style RPG. Like, if Arena fully went through with what they were originally doing, I guess we'll grab the quest objective while we're here. If the developers for Arena, Bethesda, actually went all the way through with making Arena a proper party-based arena simulator with multiple characters, then I could actually see Burglar actually working as like the one guy you have on the sideline specifically for stealing and finding traps and stuff and nothing else, and then you just have the rest of your party is like a bunch of warriors, a mage, and a healer or something like that, just so you can have a bit of healing and whatnot. Like the traditional Final Fantasy 1 class setup. You have your fighter, or you have your warrior, your thief, your black mage, and your white mage. And Burglar definitely fits the role of thief pretty well. Alright, let's see here. This here's the Mage's Guild, so now we can drop on by and see what kind of magic items we can steal. Alright. Because, of course, stealing magic items is kind of the go-to way of getting all of your magic items in the early game. Bracelet of Strength, not bad. Let's get greedy with it. Okay, I'm going to drop a save because that was our first unsuccessful. I'm not going to get too greedy. We want to save scum with these. And we're going to try and... Here, if we reload, despite the fact that we're unsuccessful, this next roll here should actually be different. So let's see here. We should be able to get a different roll. Yeah, see, Crystal Poison Dart. So we just stole another magic item. Nice, nice. We're just going to keep stealing magic items real quick. You know, the one strength of the burglar, I'm going to abuse it as much as possible. And you can see that we, basically every now and then, we fail our checks. And that's kind of what I mean, like, despite the fact that we have 100% thieving efficiency, we still fail to steal anything half the time, but the other half the time, we manage to get powerful magic items just from this one magic user. And yet it does look like we're getting a bit of an unsuccessful streak, so we may be pressing our luck here. Oh, that was unsuccessful, but not okay. Okay, it does seem like we're pressing our luck here a little too much. Alright, but we do have a Bracelet of Strength, which, isn't really the best because I would prefer an armor bracelet. Oh, and I can't equip... Oh yeah, I do have another bracelet, okay. And the Crystal of Poison Dart is not bad, but like, eh. Let's see here, if I just look at what kind of magic items we got, like, you can see there's an Amulet of Intelligence, Amulet of Agility, Crystal of Curse. There's not really much here. I mean, I guess we could also get potions if we wanted to. I mean, there's like potions of healing, cure disease, true heal, all sorts of stuff that you might want to have. Potion of invisibility is not bad. If you're doing a thief. But it doesn't seem like we really got much of a selection here. So sadly, we're just probably going to have to roll with what we got and see how far we can actually get in the first dungeon. Despite the fact that I'm not feeling like this first dungeon run is going to be too great. Because we barely have any gear compared to any of the previous classes, nor would we have any gear surpassing any of the future classes, except for maybe monk and sorcerer, even though sorcerer is still pretty good. Gear-wise, there's other reasons about sorcerer I don't like, but I'll get to that video in a later date. In the meantime, we got some rats to kill. A single gold piece? Huh. Didn't realize the game hated me that much. Alright, we got a staff, plate boots. You know what? I'm not feeling like we're going to be able to make it this far anyways, but let's see how far we can actually get just with our setup, because it looks like from the gist of it, we're not really going to get much stronger. So we may as well just see how far we can actually get just as things go. So I'm going to take this shortcut. Let's see how quickly we die to maybe either wolves or skeletons. Yeah, we got wolves over here now. And of course the wolves definitely fight. Landed a critical strike, not bad. Oh, and we got a level. Not bad. And it's a 6-pointer. Definitely going to throw that into agility. Now we got an 80 agility. That's pretty good. And I feel like speed also affects your swing speed. And look at that, -7s across the board. That is actually pretty decent. Yeah, that actually does pretty good. Like, alright, we should be able to rest until fully healed, which does take quite some time. Like, holy crap. And we can go ahead and jump through here. I don't feel like we're going to get through the skeletons too quickly, but let's see anyways. Let's see how quickly we die. Wow. Like, 3 seconds. Alright. You know what? And I mean, we died in like 3 seconds there. And we did just about all the proper setup we could do with burglar. And I mean, I guess if I really wanted to, I could do more setup and get like magic items and stuff. But considering I basically did about as long of a setup routine as I did with basically all the other classes, and I'm only a level 4 burglar with -7s across the board and a basic short sword, and I die in like 3 seconds to skeletons, despite having a +6 to hit and +6 to defend with my agility, which did give me at least an extra second there in that fight. I did see a few hits miss. So, yeah, burglar. Honestly, if any class had to fit for it, burglar would 100% be a 1 out of 10. I don't think any other class could hit 1 out of 10 like burglar. Honestly, burglar is one of 3 of the trap classes, in my opinion. One of the 3 classes you do not want to play as, in my opinion. I wouldn't wish my worst enemy to play this class. Yeah, and I mean, its skill floor definitely through the roof. You have to do a lot of grinding just to be able to survive basic enemies. You have to have some proper setup. You have to save scum in correct areas and have enough patience to properly use the only strength just so you could just barely squeeze through the entire game. So the skill floor is definitely pretty frickin' high, and the skill ceiling, it's at the same level because there's not very much room for the skill ceiling to go. Like, it takes a lot of skill to play as this class, and once you learn how to play as this class, there isn't much else there is to it. You just steal, sell, buy, locate new buildings, steal, sell, buy, locate new buildings, steal, sell, buy, steal, sell, buy, steal, sell, buy, steal, sell, buy, and that's the entire grind routine of the burglar. The only way you could just barely squeeze through the game. With a full suit of leather armor, a full setup of all the ebony gimmicks, all the ebony jewelry pieces like the mithril bracelet or the ebony belt, get a belt, a bracelet. I think there's also a torque and an amulet, so get all four of those so you get a full -20 armor rating on top of that astounding -3 armor rating and that huge boost from maxed out agility after you grab like the Ogma Infinium or something to max out agility and maybe luck and intelligence so you can steal more efficiently. And then you want to get about every single magic item there is in the game, so that way you can play as a pseudo mage and use shield, so you can create shield so you can actually have enough health to survive any encounter. Pass wall so you can nullify half the game, and levitate so you don't die in 2 seconds to lava traps. Like, this game requires way too much. This character, this class, requires way too much setup. But yeah, that's enough ranting about burglar. Do not play this class. Trust me, please save yourself. Do not try to play this class. But that's going to be it for the rest of this episode. That's going to be it for the rest of this video. This has been your bro Frostbrew, and I think I'm going to have to catch you on the next one. Later!